We get how uncertain the future is. We've come of age in a complex world, face to face with problems we didn't create. So what's gonna happen next? We are. Because our future is the future. The life we have chosen has prepared us for this. So we're going to build bridges and hospitals in a day. We're going to save families from disasters and feed those left in the cold. We're going to do all this and more because we have an appointment with destiny. We invite you to join us. The next greatest generation is now.
Hello and welcome back to the Rally Cry Collegiate Series featuring Madden, presented, of course, by the Army National Guard. FBI Tugboat here, my man Novanto with me.
Hey,
We're looking at the grand finals coming up here in just a second for this qualifier.
can we say that we are the most festive commentators in the sport right now? I'm looking pretty good, but you're absolutely right. It's the grand final surface qualifier, but they've kind of already qualified. Tell me more about this tugboat.
Yeah, so there are four total qualifiers. First one's already done. Two players will qualify from this. So both Dcroft and Neighbor have punched their ticket and qualified. Now we're talking about seeding, and who actually wins here will have an advantage coming in to the later competition. The competition will determine not just money, but again, that ticket to the NFL draft in April. Detroit, Michigan. We're going to be looking at Dcroft. So far, we're getting the word that going to be playing as the Kansas City Chiefs.
Ooh, but let's see if this time we're going to have Travis Kelsey being used, or might also put this guy on the bench. I do think that'd be a key to victory by any other measure if you want to see get them the dub today.
Absolutely. Spreading the ball around, getting Mahomes to run, getting Pacheco, of course, to run. Edwards Hilaire as well. Other Kansas City Chiefs teams we have not seen incorporate a running back not named Isaiah Pacheco. See how this one goes, as we do see a game one Chiefs home field advantage.
Well, absolutely. So, Dcroft getting the advantage. I'm not sure if it's going to be any kind of difference the way Neighbor has been working all afternoon.
100% agreed. 100% agreed. Fair catch. Close to the end zone here. 5-yard line where they'll be starting this drive, and Neighbor looking to get this one cooking here and early. If I'm thinking first play, we're predicting first play. I'm thinking short play to the outside just to kind of get this one started, just to kind of get Kansas City on their toes.
I mean, I suppose, but at the same time, you see when players try to go at Neighbor like that, and what happens is, I guess I have a little bit of pause here. You may put yourself in a situation where there may not be a path of counteracting. So I get it. I love being forward, I love being aggressive, but don't put yourself in a position to open yourself up for, let's say, I don't know, a goal line turnover like we saw last series.
That's entirely fair. Entirely fair. We are getting confirmed now, of course, that we are going to be looking at a neutral stadium for the next. Obviously, players kind of figuring this out within each other because within Madden 24, there are, of course, market advantages that come along with playing home field advantage, especially for the Chiefs. That's literally like their power up, right? Like the
Yeah.
arrowhead loudness and whatnot affecting the other team playing against them at home.
Let me ask you a question. You might be a little biased because you live out there in Vegas. What's your favorite neutral site in the league?
In the league has got to be. I mean, obviously, I just think it's so funny when the Jets and the Giants play within the same stadium in that life, right? I do love that, and there's like no home field advantage whatsoever. Obviously, you got the same situation out there in LA with your Rams, right?
Right. Rams and Chargers, but it's definitely of the two, it's a Rams. But everyone knows if you live in LA, you're a Raiders fan or a Trojans fan, so it's kind of a moot point. But I wonder if I had a chance to play in any stadium, probably do Raymond James. I think it's pretty solid for what it is. But you know what? I'm not making the choice here today, so I don't know.
I got you. I mean, hey, actually, my answer for you is 4 miles outside the 4 miles outside my window to
I knew
Legion
it.
Stadium, where the Super Bowl is going to be playing literally tomorrow. Maybe a little bit of a preview right here. I would love to have seen. We haven't actually what so. Between last qualifiers and this qualifiers, right, Navante, we're running through this. We've literally only seen the Eagles once, the Jets once, and the Bills over and over again, and the Chiefs over and over again. You know who we haven't seen who's going to the Super Bowl? We haven't seen whatsoever all the way through on this. That is the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, I mean, here's the thing with the 49ers. I think that's kind of like indicative of their season thus far. They're good. They're really good. But Brock Purdy is the guy people go, oh, yeah, I want to be like that guy. You know what I mean? Like, I go back to basketball. You think how good Tim Duncan was, but his whole thing was called the big fundamental. That's not cool. So, yeah, I hope the season more 49ers games, but I can forgive a lot of people that their first
Mhm.
choice when it comes down to selecting a team.
Especially given how running quarterbacks are in the league nowadays, right? Everybody we mentioned, right? Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, little bit of Josh Allen action are all running quarterbacks. These are all dual threats. They can get the ball anywhere as well as take off and run in a given time. If that's the case, I'm not 100% surprised why we don't see James Cook getting all the way out here, even after a little bit of contact right here, and the away jerseys. Love it, love it. Kind of
Yeah.
an odder look, right? That top dark blue almost looks black, right?
Yeah, it definitely looks like they're wearing capes, but that's besides the point. I guess we're still back here at Arrowhead. I forget the local advantage or the neutral site, but we're back here in Arrowhead, and Buffalo's looking very much like the visitors here.
So they are. Gear out the outside, pitch to the flats, 1 for 1. Josh Allen on 3 yards gets this up a little bit farther. Um, James Cook, short play. Do we get a longer play after this? Moderate to long? Nope. Going to be another James Cook rush. And why wouldn't you when you get a pocket like that?
Well, I don't think anyone's figured out James Cook quite as yet, so I would say use that until Kansas City does. We saw that in the first years a little bit with Jordan being able to counteract that in some parts of it. But if Dcroft can't figure it out, why not use it?
Absolutely. Don't fix it if it ain't broke. And if this is something the neighbor has established with other players, even coming into this one, even though you have a new opponent, why not continue?
You know, the more I look at these uniforms, the more I don't like them. They look like lobster bibs, but that's besides the point. We have ourselves a little bit of a moving with the chains.
I'm sorry, I had to mute there for a second. That was hilarious. That was absolutely hilarious. Yeah, just a weirder look. Also, I mean, part of it is because they have like almost the horse collar part there on the back lit up, and then like going around, it's almost making their shoulders look really small. Is this like the opposite of an intimidation factor?
I guess so. Maybe it's like, oh, these guys look so friendly. They won't steal the ball from me. Oh,
Yeah,
wait.
they won't tackle me. They're not gonna grab it from Dave Davis, and Gabe Davis is gonna run in for another six here to begin this competition off. Here's grand finals.
Well, they always say if you have hesitation, the only gets rid of that is winning. And right now, the Buffalo Bills are winning in the best looking uniforms ever, apparently. Because look at this here. Nice pass taken to the house. Why not?
The uniform buff, apparently. Chenal from the outside, user controlled, try to get in there, but Bass stays perfect on the extra points. About 2.5 minutes burned off on that drive. Let's see what Kansas City and Dcroft can do.
Well, I've heard the story. I've seen it time and time again. You just have the aggressive nature of neighbor and the Buffalo Bills scoring first and holding on to leads. Let's see if that's another chapter or you're going to have a new version when it comes to Kansas City Chiefs.
Speaking of, Miko Hardman Jr. almost gets taken out by his own man right there, and on this one actually does get out to the 25. Look at that. A lot of different options right here. How do you throw neighbor off early? Isaiah Pacheco run would be pretty standard. Even a short pitch to Isaiah Pacheco or another receiver, even a tight end out to the flats for a short gain is not something exactly awe inspiring. Hey, you have first play right here. You have a deficit right now. Why not pitch a big one?
I would say I'll go so old school it would hurt. I mean, I want a standard button hook. You know what I'm saying? Like what? Like the playbook right out of 1945. You know what I'm saying? Like just do it with the most basic thing else, and then drop back into your hail marys.
There you go. Well, hey, 7 yards is going to be the same advantage you get on a button hook right there. Super loaded up the left side here. Circle should be into double coverage. Kelsey there. Kelsey's going to get this one, bring it down. The question of whether or not Travis Kelsey will get involved has been answered thus far.
Well, Travis Kelsey, we've seen him in other weeks of this competition. Seems to have like Velcro in the gloves, and the fact that he's being used early says that Kansas City knows what is in their arsenal. I'm so glad he's being used already more than he did the last time we saw the Chiefs play.
100% agreed. 100% agreed. Now that's Kelsey again, 2 for 2, and about 35 yards on that one, it seems. You'll frequently see Travis Kelsey double covered as well. And I mean, IRL, Madden, sometimes that's just not enough. Single coverage definitely was not enough there. Going out to the middle. That's all. Rasheed Rice almost gets taken out by his own guy, kind of like almost like unintentionally rubbed him a little bit right there. Made it so that Rasheed Rice could not get under that ball.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, a little bit of a communication breakdown in the path because had it had an extra step of short footing, that would have been a catch. But maybe it's a moot point here, almost to the line, right in inches in front of goal.
Yeah, 1st and 1 right here after a fantastic Rasheed Rice take. This is a Kansas City drive right now that has featured the ball get into the hands of what, 4 different players?
Yeah, it was one of the situations where the distribution actually was going to be a disadvantage, but ended up being an advantage at the end of it. So cool,
Love
great.
it. Pacheco inside gets this one easily, barely even touched on his way inside for 6.
I guess the refs don't care about the top block at the end of it, but you're right. They score and look at the tie it up.
Can we start calling penalties in this if they're not going to? Like, what's going on here?
Straight after school bully rules, bro. Just like yeah.
7-7. So right now, both scores coming here in the first quarter. We'll see if the Buffalo Bills and neighbor are able to get something going before the clock strikes 0 in the first quarter. No take out from here. They'll be starting from the 25.
Yeah, it's about high time we have ourselves a back and forth competition. Like, I like the
Oh
fact
yeah.
that we know that both teams or the whole bracket had really strong players, but it seemed that when the whistle went, it was really one team's day. So far, tie game in the first. Give it to me.
Taking a look, we haven't really talked too much about how Dcroft got here. I guess Stephon Diggs with a not an exactly electrifying catch. Let's take a look at this one. This was, of course, Luke. Wait, Luke plays.
That's Dcroft, yes.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's Dcroft. So, came in, what, fourth seed, put down Swolissimo, put down Quran, put down uh UMYP at a 2-0 scoreline. But wait, hang on. Nope, that was the wrong player. Yeah, so Luke plays is not Luke plays, aka Dcroft, has not lost even a game. Has taken all of these from sweeps so far.
Yeah, I think that's the more telling of it all is being able to not only be good at the game, which you kind of have to be in any tournament situation, but to not drop a game means there's very a small window where they are vulnerable while they're learning your weaknesses. And so being able to go this far without dropping game says a lot. But you think about who they beat. Spolissimo was someone that was kind of one of their better players last time we were on stream. They're talking about. I took a
Yeah,
look at that.
100% agreed. Solisima really was putting thumb screws to the opponents here, but now it's Neighbors' a job to do that. 7 for 7 on 68 and a touch right now. Perfect is Josh Allen so far in this game. From the gun, audibles get called. James Cook gets brought a little bit closer right here. Man coverage shown outside of these hard flats, left and right. James Cook goes out for the pass. That's going to be Diggs that can't quite get back to that. A weird way for Josh Allen to throw his first incompletion.
Yeah, it was a weird drop back. It was a weird timing of the pass, and that ball was pretty much right in front of their face. They got dropped as well. It was kind of a C minus all around.
C minus because you did not get a plus play right there as third and
Dang.
three coming up in just a second on the 44, on their own 44, I should say. No, the opponent's 44, and that's way farther inside. Diggs gonna hit the ground right there, get another big completion.
Didn't even think that was going to be caught, but it was just so smooth with it. I'll just give it to him anyway. It was well executed.
Cook, not exactly well executed on this one as he gets drilled down the back. Johnson right there for his first tackle and for a loss. Second and 13 coming up. Bills comfortably within field goal territory, but something tells me, Novanta, they're not going to settle for that.
I don't think you would in this situation. I know you gotta want to be able to peck your opponent to death with a field goal here and a extra point there, but ultimately you need these high scoring
Hmm.
affairs because you know how good Dcroft is. We just said didn't drop a game all tournaments. You got to make this mountain almost insurmountable to climb.
Yeah, you got to make it a high scoring game or people stop watching, right? Who are you, Novanta, the NFL?
Defense wins games.
Third and 13 coming up right here. Allen dropping back. Got to get this ball out. Got the coverage. Cook whips around, gets it, and defender behind him actually has bad momentum going the other way and allows this play to be made. First down plus more.
It was interesting. It looked like Gay was just like looking on, like, well, I hope they catch it as they were trying to break it up themselves. That was an odd one.
So, yeah, this is why I have teammates, right, guys? Wait, guys, are you there? Second and goal now after a 1 yard rush from Cook.
That's kind of like us when we cast. Hey, you doing this? I thought you were doing
Well, I thought you were. No, you catch it, bro. You catch it.
it. You cast it.
Second and goal right here. Fourth. Oh, yeah, you read this one perfectly. Blitz plays right up the middle. Kansas City just swallows up the running back in the middle of it for a loss. 2 minute warning coming up here. And now, do you get a time wasting situation into the neighbor's head? That's the question,
I
right?
mean,
Do you do try and get a run? Do you try and get the touchdown via a run? So even if you don't, it continues to run clock. Not going to happen. That's one way to run the clock.
yeah. I mean, what better way to deal with a choice than having it absolutely removed? Last
Yeah,
play
right.
got hit to a wall. Second play, the wall hit back, and now you have a decision to make at fourth and goal.
Yeah, no analysis paralysis when you have no other option is taken away from you here. Fourth and goal, and the option is no option at all here for neighbors. This is wise. I like it. Take back the lead right here from a tie situation.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Neighbor and Dcroft are playing an elevated score of the game, which again makes Neighbors a little bit more dangerous because we've seen them have those kind of slugfest situations, and now we're seeing them playing the thinking man's version of this game.
Absolutely. And not just bomb plays and points, right? Love that all the way up. And the Chiefs expect a weird play, expect a trick play to stay in the normal formation. I'm not against that. Not even trying to get for the PAT, given how perfect these kickers have been so far.
Absolutely. This actually makes Madden one of the better and surprisingly deep esports. It isn't like FIFA where you kind of block from doing silly
Uh,
stuff. What a play!
okay.
Got slid over
Shoestring
there.
tackle. Yeah, 42 right there. Gonna be really, really glad that the dive paid off. It harks back to that kind of comedic neighbor run for the catch, and then like with the guy with no momentum, basically just like goes from vertical to horizontal immediately with no yardage covered. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
All the way out there. That's going to be a lot for Valdez Scantling. Hands down, the biggest pass completion of this. And Scantling wasting a little bit of time right there just to allow Buffalo to not have any option time wise on the other side.
I hope that's more strategic thing because that was showboating. That was the most boring showboating I've ever seen.
This makes sense. This makes sense. The kneel down right here to waste out this clock, the respective timeout from the Buffalo Bills on the other side. Now you're second and goal with a single yard. You try and do this again, take 39 seconds off the clock.
Well, this is what I was
This would
gonna
be
say
to
before.
45.
I gotta say, like games that makes Madden so great is that you really can't play the strategic role. And I think that's really helping them out right now, but they got stopped, and that's
Uh,
not gonna be a score.
yeah. So Pacheco, Dcroft opts Pacheco into the player instead of running this one in. I'm taking a solid 7 instead of running out clock and deleting a possible, again, possible opportunity for neighbor to come back at this one. I'm just
Yeah.
taking the 7. You can have the 35 seconds. You still have to get it done at that point.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% there, but I think both these players are playing big brain version of Madden, which is very delightful to see here.
Taking down a lot of time right here. Think, yeah, this is smart given the Decroft thinks, hey, either this is a touchdown or the fourth down play is gonna be a field goal attempt. Pacheco rocking hand, nicely done,
Oh.
gets to the outside. That's another 6 on the board.
Well, we've been talking about the storyline of clock management, and I think we're going to see it implemented on a second level here. So we're talking about what it means to qualify for the opportunity to really go and see. Well, extra point is good. Actually, see the NFL draft. These people know the stakes, and so they're not going to make any mistakes, like we saw earlier.
They're the stakes, not going to make any mistakes. I love it. I love it. 11 seconds to go here. Kickoff coming in just a little bit. If I know neighbor, this will not be kickoff return. It'll be a fair catch and start this one from the 25 with maybe 2 opportunities at big plays and a field goal afterwards if you don't make it.
I mean, yeah, but still, run it back, man. Come on, do it, do it,
It
do it.
definitely would run it back now, receiving this one on the 15. Nope, still going to
Boo.
call it, going out to the 25.
Well, I guess so.
If you're on the 15, I take this one out every single time, dude. You only
That's
have
what
11
I'm saying.
seconds, and this is essentially like a rushing. Like, if you stop looking at it as like a kickoff return and more looking at it as like a rushing play, like, player receives it. Now he has the opportunity to run down the field and score. That's where my mind is going.
That's why you need to be in this tournament next time.
I don't think I'd like to embarrass myself like that. Also, honestly.
Oh,
Also, yeah, I don't think I'd do that.
yeah, I remember the days where I would just like spam ask Madden, like, "Hey man, what do you think?" This is something for sure.
That's a good point, dude. That's a good point. I remember Ask Madden, man. That was a beautiful time.
Beautiful time. Well, we're just getting the official end. It is official end. So second half here, down by 4 for neighbor. We've been following them all day, kind of the sentimental hero of today's stream. But Dcroft is in the first bracket for a reason. Four
What?
point lead. Onside kick action.
What? Up and down, but Harris is gonna get it. This is free yardage for Dcroft. I guess Neighbor is not really used to playing from behind. I'm not 100% sure here, man.
I mean, I do think that a lot of that defense, that kind of like hive of swarm of bees that you saw implemented in that last series, like you had that magic there, wasn't going to work with Dcroft, and I think he's going to pay for it now.
Oh my God, Cole Hardman with the absolute bomb freeform completion and another 6 points on the board for Dcroft. I am done questioning this man's decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely was a point of pressure there for a neighbor. The onside kick didn't work the way they want to, and the seams opened up for the answer.
And man, oh man, this game just turned itself on its head quickly. Last 30 seconds of gameplay or so, D. Croft putting up 14. and taking a lead.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say whether or not that was kind of a self-inflicted score or that was kind of a bigger part of a bigger strategy. But either way, Neighbor has been under pressure for the first time we've seen in a long time. And now it's a gut check. Look, you're down by a score and some change, or two scores and some change. Let's get some back to that small ball ways. Get yourself on the board once more.
Small ball right here. You mentioned it earlier. I'm going to redirect that one and give it a little bit of extra love. That is exactly what the doctor ordered right here when you're talking about small ball. Short reception out here to James Cook. First down plus a little bit more. I got to back up your other point, man. This could have very easily been a 4 point differential between Kansas City and Buffalo. I do not understand why you'd come out with an onside kick to begin the second half.
I don't get it either, and I think that if they were in the booth, they probably asked them like, "What are you doing?" Maybe a bigger strategy there, or that we're both missing. But maybe I think it's a clock management issue. But either way, it's not necessarily the end of the series, but that could be a turning point.
One of the definitive points. That's going to be, yeah, there's going to be a hit out, 3rd and 2. Thankfully, no sack because, of course, Josh Allen was all the way down south of Narnia away from the line of scrimmage.
Down south in Narnia, that's pretty far.
Yeah, even farther than just in Narnia or in down south. Oh my God! Speaking of the sack, they're basically where they started. 4th and 10 coming in here for Neighbor. Maybe Meta's match? Question mark.
I mean, it was a sack, yes, but Josh Allen got caught sleeping, just had foot planted. It was catching some roots, and it was all downhill from there.
Touchdown per quarter here for Dcroft. That's going to be, I believe, the concede. Yes, that's going to be concede from Neighbor, reading the writing on the board, and going to be 7 the other side. So a 21-7 game to start with here. Camera will come back in just a second. There we go.
So to me, I'm a little bit confused. I understand conceding. I understand saying I'm going to drop this first game and roll into game two, but there was still a path to victory here. It's still early enough that you really could have done it to have yourself a kind of a comeback story. I guess the lack of confidence in themselves is something that's really giving me pause right now. Talk about.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of time on the clock here for the concede, and only down by 11. This is two scores, right? This is a score, a 2 point conversion, and a field goal afterwards. And how many times have we seen a tying factor the last couple of seconds of these competitions so far? Not just within Madden either, but within IRL football, within the NFL. Not 100% sure on that one. I feel like Neighbor may have had a little bit lack of confidence within their own abilities, but the simple fact is, you got here, man. You're in the grand finals. You didn't get here by mistake.
I mean, that's exactly what it is. I mean, that's what a concession is. You're basically looking at your opponent in the eye saying, I can't take anymore, which is something you never want to do. But I understand the strategy is I got something planned for them in game two. But I really felt like this was a premature concession by any other stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Anyway, starting off game number 2, we're of course going on back to the Kansas City Chiefs field as Tyler Bass gives this one a massive boot, perfectly positioned, and Miko Hardman and Dcroft going to bring this one out. I have to say, he has completely neglected the left sideline so far, right? This is, especially if you're going to bring it out, you have to rely on your teammates to kind of give you a little bit of blocking and sometimes just beat feet right down the sideline, right? Just tear it right down there and maybe have some flames coming up behind you.
I mean, sometimes, yeah, but sometimes the computer control players have let you down. It's just about having confidence in your team, right? Sometimes they have burned you in such ways, you know what the stakes are. You try to do everything yourself. You may get caught out that way. But I'm with you, man. I'm all about that.
Comes back in the gun right now. Audibles upon audibles. 12 seconds to go here. A couple of slant plays for these players on the right. That's a big one across the middle, and Kelsey is left wide open. Uh, which is a statement I don't feel like you can say and then say, oh, yeah, the other team's going to win.
Yeah,
Kelsey gets left wide open and not at least single covered, right? Bad things going to happen for you.
again, I'm glad I'm seeing tell Kelsey a little bit more, but you're absolutely right. Even if you know nothing about the Kansas City Chiefs, let's say you play other teams, you would say, "Hey, look, I heard this guy before. Maybe he's a big deal."
I would say so. Mahomes takes the rock, runs it up for about 5, gets to the outside. No hit on Patrick Mahomes here. 36-yard line. Plenty of green ahead of them, plenty of yardage to go. But man, Miko Hardman with the bomb earlier just showed that they can do pretty much anything at any point of this field. 2 for 2 on 20 for Patrick Mahomes.
Well, to quote the great Shannon Sharp, "My homeboy, you can't stop Pat Mahomes. He's my homeboy," and that's what he's been doing, completion after completion after completion.
You did the voice perfectly as well, my man. I love it. Tripled up receivers on the left side, and they all break apart. Big bomb! This is Rasheed Rice right into the bread basket for 6. His number is 4. His score is 6.
Arrow in the heart. This is a fourth quarter bomb in the first. What kind of gear we're getting?
Love it. Absolutely love it. Dcroft is playing the football ahead of him, right? We talk about that in Rocket League sometimes, right? Like having that memory of a goldfish and just playing the 5 minute Rocket League game that is ahead of you. Dcroft is just taking this perfectly and making it, bending it to his whim.
So here's the deal. We talked about how important it
Uh,
was. We're running for it. There's Hardy, and it's going to be Chase, and yeah. So this actually
Boy.
goes into my point here. I was going to say you saw how measured that first half of the first game was. They were playing an elevated mental league. Worst was the onside kick. Now it is long bomb, and now running back. I think emotions are getting into everyone, especially neighbor, and you don't want that at this juncture.
Yeah, and like, I hope this is not the thinking that like neighbors like, oh well, I got here, I already punched my ticket, and now we're just playing for seating. I hope that this is still neighbor taking this completely seriously and trying to come out on top, even if that playoff whatnot, the playoff contention is going to be figured out outside of seating. The 7 yard line, 8 yard line, excuse me, here for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Davis is sent way out. 8 back there is Knox. Yeah, this is perfect. Dcroft realized this and pulled Gay off the line a little bit farther to try and get involved into where he knew this ball was going.
Well, the thing is about the whole idea what neighbors doing, I really think it's kind of a mental thing. I mean, you're playing a tournament, someone told you you're qualified, even if you want to play 100%, sometimes reactions do dip a bit. And I do think that it would be an interesting thing if he can a way to come back and show that, hey, look, I can power through the fatigue and win. This is why that last concession was so disappointing. I still think they're very much in this game, but you got to go with more smarter decisions.
Got to be more smarter.
Yeah, more smarter.
Brilliance. Brilliance. That's a pick. Yes, Chanel gets to the outside here,
Oh,
and D.
wow.
Croft gets that done. That was 2 feet inside somehow.
That's a James Bond pick. Didn't even realize that silencer was on. Wow, that was a going the other way. Pretty cool. Interception.
Silent but deadly there for the Kansas City defense. No farts necessary. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Vasquez. Oh, man. That's going to be enough for the breakup right there. As Patrick Mahomes is going to be throwing the first incompletion of the day.
That says a lot about that because we're in what like 6 quarters in, or, or
Mm.
5 quarters in, and as that's how good Dcroft has been doing. But I got to say this, back to the whole neighbor situation. It's only 7 points down. I do think a little
Wait,
bit of the
what?
running
Why?
game be
Okay,
helpful.
real quick. Dcroft called a timeout like a minute ago, and I was just like, okay, whatever. It might have been a fat finger. Like, right? Like, might have just done it by mistake. Now, neighbor calls a timeout right here. Are these two players like communicating possibly? Like, trying to talk about what it is that they want to do? Or is this just like kind of like a rest for the like, I want to like think about what exactly it is? Like, give me just, just a second, right? Just give me a quick little second, figure out exactly what it is that I want to do. Not 100% sure. Pause
I
works just the same in real time. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. It could be some of that. It really could be a more of a mental break situation, but it's hard to tell.
Hey, they are playing live. Maybe a little bit friendly, gentlemanly, sportsmanlike smack talk is going down right now in Orlando, Florida. Who knows?
What is a gentleman smack talk like? Like I am winning by a
Like,
considerable amount.
sir, I will do my darndest in this competition to beat you, and if I do, it'll be a win, a victory most glorious.
Wow,
However, I respect you and your abilities in the game as well.
you're a bully. But either way, it was a good sack.
Oh, triple loading the right side here. You got to get his Patrick Mahomes and D. Croft. Got the bailout shot for X, but out is Scanling. Once again, I called him Vasquez, didn't I?
We didn't hear that. We didn't hear it
Okay,
at
good.
all.
It's
Nice
it's not it's
completion
not
though.
recorded on the internet and stuff like that. We'll be all right.
No, we're fine, man. Yeah, easily deleted.
Pacheco, yeah, just tries to goes for the race to the sideline. Not going to find anything, and -5 yards be the result of that running play. I've been talking about getting Pacheco involved more so. I've been saying that for Dcroft to kind of throw the defenses of neighbor offset, and so they're not really knowing what's coming next. But honestly, the Bills' rush defense has been fantastic so far. I believe that's only 2 or 3 attempts for Pacheco and might even be negative yardage, especially off
Yeah,
of -5 previously.
Absolutely. That play you're referring to was definitely a confidence trick. You know, you're kind of feeling yourself, you're in a mode, you say, hey, can I beat them with this? And it didn't work out there. It tells you that your opponent's still in the game, but you got to do those kind of plays to see how far you have you broken your opponent and see what you can do to run up the score.
Speaking of, this is some slant plays from the right side. Maybe some big bomb plays coming in just a second. Did that say 2 rushes for -8 yards? Can't read that quick. Can't read that quick. Hartman Jr., but pass is knocked out, of course.
You know, when I was a player of the good old foosball, my coach would tell me, "Look, you can't be 100% all the time, but you have to be at least 200% all the time." And I think we're seeing a little bit now that defenses kick up just a little bit on the side of a neighboring company.
Kelsey, an absolute tank that just doesn't stop rolling right there. He got 3 different players hanging on to him and still stays alive on the back end right here. Mahomes in the backside right now. Hey, this tripled up look on the offense where you have all 3 receiver.
Yep, there you go.
What?
That is called a showboat, my friends.
Okay, so getting second and then just to purchase themselves another first down, I suppose. Von Miller showing up in the defense for the first time in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. You got yourself Travis Kelsey jamming out Taylor Swift on the field, just having a good old time. I think we have slipped into Pro Bowl territory.
I love it. I love it. Gotcha. Yeah, just like, hey, hey, I'm here. I'm down. I'm down. Don't hit me. Don't hit me. Pacheco gets the first down, but barely that. Okay, I get it. Sorry. Dcroft is trying to run time off of right here. That is exactly what it did earlier with Travis Kelsey stopping inches outside of the first down line. Now they have first down, and now they're going to be eating into the Buffalo Bills timeouts.
Yeah, I gotta say and double down with this one too. I do think T Cross use of the accoutrements, like the timing, the positioning, is really one of the smartest attempts with Madden we've seen all day, and in fact, the last two streams.
Pacheco right up the middle right here. 3 rushes, 2 yards now. That's going to be deleting his -6 from earlier. 150 total yards of offense, which sounds like a pretty standard performance, right? Like within a half of football. But given that the Kansas City Chiefs only have 7 points to show for it, I mean, 150 yards total, I believe about 100, no, 148 of that or whatever is passing plays. Given that that's 148 passing yards, 300 is pretty darn good for a game. Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs are getting a lot of yardage without a whole lot of points on the board to show for it.
But much like that game too, that last series between Shells and Neighbor, even though it is kind of close, it definitely feels like it's been all Dcroft. I do think if they want to turn up the heat, they can. Even though it's only 7 points, it could be a lot more.
Pacheco's going to get a lot out here and going to get to the first down marker and going to get a little bit farther than that. The rushes continue, and this time will continue to be just absolutely devoured for Dcroft. 5 seconds on it. The snap off to Pacheco coming in just a couple of seconds, trying to predict this and sound like I'm right and cool. There's the handoff. Pacheco rushing out here. Probably stops. Yeah, probably stops right outside. That's exactly what's going to happen. And more time burned off here. The next until, excuse me, the Buffalo Bills. I'm out. Getting ahead of myself.
It looked like Pacheco was trying to do a dive, but got stopped mid-launch. And he said, "Not
It's like,
today, son."
no,
And
you got to
dropped him
stay up.
down.
You got to stay up. We're not letting you beat up our clock. Mahomes, Pacheco all the way out, burns a couple of seconds trying to get to the sideline, but that's going to be a touchdown either way. Another 7 here for Dcroft and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, the pace has definitely slowed down. It feels like it's late in the fourth. It's only the second. And I do think it's just deliberate from D. Croft to really make it frustrating to be a part of the slow offensive drive to really take the opponent out the game.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen Dcroft behind in this competition thus far. We'll see how this goes, but like we've seen Neighbor ahead all the way through so far, right? We've seen Dcroft not be playing from behind by any means. So it kind of looks like a situation where either of these two players just seems great playing from ahead, but we can't say the opposite is untrue, given that Dcroft has not been seen in anything but the lead.
Look, I understand everyone looks a little bit worse for wear when they're playing from behind, and that's kind of the deal in any kind of tournament play. But I think the main storyline is that Decroft hadn't lost a game all day. To do that
Mm.
at that level is what we say about guys like Tom Brady, who are good for 5, 10, 15 years back to back.
Yeah, an absolute anomaly, Tom Brady. Hey, how about him getting the commentating job, right? $375 million for 10 years.
Man,
It's absolutely insane. Getting paid more than most NFL players per year.
it's interesting because I never thought Tom was a conversationalist, but here we are.
I'm more of an action guy, not so much of a talking man, talking head there. But we'll see how this one goes. I think it's gonna like I like Tom Brady. I have all the respect in the world. How hilarious would it be if he comes and he just sucks? Like he's just terrible at calling football games. $37.5 million a year, by the way.
I thought he'd be like more direct, like, "Well, that play was dumb. Back to you."
That
Like,
play was dumb. I would
I
have
wouldn't
done.
do that.
Yeah, exactly. I would have actually just thrown it here, and I would have gotten somehow 11 points in a single play. But that's just Tom
Right,
Brady, and that's just what he does. Shakir
right,
right here for the
exactly.
first down.
No one's excellent like me, so
Why? Okay, yeah, yeah. Sorry. I was a bit confused there for a second. 32 seconds left in this first half right here. No more timeouts here for the Buffalo Bills. Bomb and a pick here for McDuffie. Coming back the other way and barely getting on top of it, trying to get to the left side. And I do believe we know what that happens right there. So, pick coming back the other way. About 15 seconds to go. Neighbor says, hey,
yeah.
writing the wall. I can read.
So can we say this? Wait, two touchdowns being down, an interception really wouldn't be cause for a forfeit if you felt the pace being fast and you had a choice. But that last drive, with the showboating on the line, taking the sweet time, running the clock is enough to put anyone in their frustrated state of mind to rage quit. I think it was really much more a psychological victory than a mechanical sports-based one. So GG's all around, but Dcroft on a way to not lose a game all day.
Yeah, I'm saying absolutely perfect here for Dcroft, neighbor. Like you said, this was not a situation where they're facing elimination from the playoffs based on a loss. Regardless, and coming into seeding, you have like the way I always look at it, it's exactly what we say in Rocket League, Navanta. Whatever the scoreline is in the first half of this game can be undone in the second half of the game. The thing about football, though, without Madden, obviously, is that you get timeouts and stuff like that. Rocket League may be harder to implement that. We hit 2:30. Well, the game's still going here. This is Madden. This is football, and anything can happen in that second half. But regardless, again, on the side of the desk for a reason, Navanta.
Absolutely. Look, clock management isn't just a buzzword. It really is coming down to taking your opponent out the game even before they have a chance to pick a play. We saw that there. It was pretty much head to head, very cerebral in that game one, but all game two is Dcroft.
Yep, that literally was. What it was 21-10 first game, 14-0. So neighbor shut down, which is a situation that a sentence that I don't think I could have said at the beginning of this broadcast here. Neighbor was looking fantastic, and then really met his maker in the grand finals right there. Folks, I want to give a shout out to one of the organizations that make competitions just like this possible, and that, of course, is the Army National Guard. Now, soldiers in the Army National Guard show up for their community, state, and country when they are needed the most. But, of course, it is part-time, right? They're civilians, they're soldiers, but their guard service is part-time. A lot of soldiers, most soldiers, I would even say, in the Guard can work full-time, go to school, fulfill their training at the minimum of 1 weekend per month with their job-specific annual training. And this isn't something that's going to nix them from hobbies, from going out and doing other things. This is not something you have to be fully present with every day of the month. They are the military's first responders, and the Guard is activated to support when disaster strikes here at home.
Absolutely. You could do more for yourself and your future. Soldiers in the Guard, where you qualify for receive additional educational benefits from the state and federal tuition assistance programs, which is really cool if you want to go back to school. Soldiers in the Guard as well have the opportunity to gain transferable skills and leadership qualities outside of the workplace or classroom by pursuing a full-time job or going to school full-time. Learn more at nationalguard.com.
Yeah, I think it's such a perfect marriage of the sponsor right here, right? Because we're literally doing collegiate stuff and we're talking about the Army National Guard. You can get involved with them while still furthering that higher education. I'm certain beyond certainties the Army National Guard has some kind of help within there as well. Guys, if you're interested, Army National Guard's website is a Google search away. That's going to be it for our qualifier number 2 on the day here, Novanta. I want to give a big fat shout out to production staff here on the day. That is Aster and everybody else over there helping us out, making our jobs as casters that much easier. We very much appreciate it.